Coaches, welcome. Today we're going to talk about building your pass game around four verticals concepts. So, when I teach my quarterbacks, I use some of the R4 methods. So, we'll talk to them about rhythm routes, read routes, rush routes, and then how to escape the pocket when there's pressure. If you're not familiar with what R4 is, what rhythm is rhythm routes are usually your deep release routes, but with only a single stem. And then a read route are also deep release routes, but they have a double move. So here in this concept, we're in doubles. If we had this outside receiver releasing vertical, and then this receiver running a 10-yard out, our rhythm route would be the vertical, and the 10-yard route would be the read route. If you have two rhythm routes together in R4 terminology, one of them becomes rhythm, and then your second route, even though there's not a double move, becomes a read. And that has to do with footwork and timing in that internal QB clock. So, if our quarterback is going to throw a rhythm route, he is going to hit it on the third step in his drop. And if it's a read route, he takes his 3-step drop from the gun. But then he's going to hitch back up one step before he can deliver it. And that's going to allow him to throw right on time. So, now that we understand that, I'm going to roll this clip. And when they come to the line, we teach our quarterbacks what to look for. So he's reading. First, he's going to decide what rhythm route he's going to work with. This is our 8-11 play, so it's our four vertical concept. So we're going to have a rhythm route, two rhythm routes together over here, and two rhythm routes together over here. He needs to decide which one of those he's going to set as his rhythm route. And the way he makes that decision is based off cushion. So he's going to look. He's going to check first to the outsides in his pre-snap, and he's going to look at how far off these corners are lined up. If he thinks that our receivers are good enough to close the cushion and blow the top off of that corner, then he's going to set that as our rhythm route. If there's nobody walked out over our slot guys like there is here, and these corners are pressed off a little bit, we'd probably prefer him to look to set this as the rhythm route, and we're going to look to hit this guy once he clears the linebackers, provided that the safety isn't coming up and filling. So it really just depends what the defense does and how they react. Now, if we set our slot guys at our rhythm routes and we're in our vertical release and we get collision from this linebacker right here, we know that we're going to check to our read route, which would be, if we're working this side of the concept, our read route would be over here. And if not, we can work backside, but in this case it's for vertical, so we actually don't have a rush route, which is a quick pass concept route attached to this play. So we're going to go rhythm, read, and then probably we're going to try to escape or release. So in this concept, let's roll the play. Should have had our slot guy set as our rhythm. He does. And he makes the throw to the outside. So it looks like a bad throw, but it's actually a good decision. It's just a poorly thrown ball. So what our quarterback saw in this play is this outside receiver is actually what he set as his rhythm route, and I'm okay with that. This receiver was a stud. He was 6'3", and he was probably one of the fastest guys on our team. It's easy to look good when you have that. So we set this as our rhythm. He must have liked the matchup with his corner, and the reason he decided to go here instead of check down, even though this guy does pop open in our terminology is a little bit different. So he sees when this guy's in his third step that he is closing the cushion, and he's going to blow that cap off. And as we can see, he did blow the cap off of this corner, right? He beat him, and it was a good throw or a good decision, but just not a great thrown ball. We'll watch it again. And it would have been better, but he kind of hitches back up. So if we're going to set this outside to our rhythm, we want him to plant and throw right here. So we don't want him to hitch back up. If he would have just planted and thrown right there, we'd probably be looking at 6 points right now. Here is a little bit different play. It's actually a quick concept. So we have over here, we're going to have a little slant route. We're going to have a quick out. We're going to have a go route or a fade. And then we're going to have a little 5-yard out going on right here. And here again, he holds onto the ball a little bit longer than we like, and he actually took some criticism from our coaches for not going here where it's wide open. But again, he saw as we get off the ball, he saw that this guy, his outside receiver, is going to beat this corner. And while it's easy to steal those 5 or so yards, if you've got him beat, you got to get the ball, and especially when they're pressed up in his face like that. Here we've got a little bit different concept. We're going to have a go. We're going to have now 10-yard out, and we're going to have the same thing on the other side. So about 10 yards, and then a go over here. So in this particular play, what you're going to see is our quarterback set our main rhythm route right here. So he should have been working rhythm and then our read route right here. But what happens is, remember we talked about collision earlier? This cornerback is pressed up in our receiver's face, and he gets jammed up on this line pretty hard. So now what should have happened, and he's under a little bit of pressure, so he had a hard time hitching back up into the pocket. But what should have happened is you could see his eyes are still out here on this outside guy. He should have checked down to that read route and hit it as soon as he saw collision. Because what happened now is we have this guy collisioning right here. This corner can't make a play on this out route. We've got a one-on-one situation. And this guy's releasing about 10 yards upfield. There's nobody in his vicinity. So if we see that quicker, once we've got the collision, this is a pretty easy completion and throw to make. Okay. A few more examples. Here we have our 8-11 plays, so our 4 verticals plays out of trips. And what's going to happen here is we're going to go right here. And our receiver never gets collisioned. We drop back, we make our steps in our read, and we throw a pretty good ball. Okay, here we go. Here's our 8-03 play again. So once again, we're going to have go routes or fades on the outside, and then 10-yard outs out of our slot guys. Well, this should be the out. That should be the go. And again, it's important that you teach your quarterbacks to read the cap, right? Initial alignment, they're in cover 4, they're playing pretty far off. We're thinking, based on pre-snap, he's probably not going to blow the cap off this corner. But if we look down here, this receiver does. This corner wasn't the fastest corner that we faced. Our guy was just faster, and we do a pretty good job finding our dude. Another 4 verticals concept. In this one, we're going to work up to the top of the screen. He sees he's kind of pressed down in his face. This guy's pretty quick. Probably going to beat the cap. And he does. So we just put the ball out in front of him for a pretty easy touchdown. And again, coaches, if you're going to use this, your quarterback should know if he's going to beat that cap by his second or third step. So here, if we watch the top of the screen, we've got step 1, step 2, he's closing on him. By this point, we should have made our decision. He's at step 2, he's closing the space and the distance between him and the corner. We know that we've got him beat here. All we got to do is put the ball right out in front of him, and we have a nice 20-yard touchdown pass. Okay, here we come again to our 803. So we've got our go, we've got our 10-yard out, and then we've got the same thing over here. But we don't complete the ball. So here, this is just a bad decision by the quarterback, or a poorly thrown ball, because we do beat the cap. So just put it out in front of him. Again, a lot of the time, a lot of coaches will get on their quarterbacks for not taking this as easy yards. But if you have that corner beat, I'm okay with him taking a risk, especially if your QB is a slinger. I'm all about the big and explosive plays. With that said, we're thrown into double coverage. And while I'm not mad because he still gets the ball there, we just don't make the catch, I still would rather avoid the double coverage. We have our wide open guy down here. So that's really up to you as a coach, how you want to coach that up. Here we come back to the same concept. We've got goes and we've got our outs. We set our rhythm route up here. He sees him close the cushion on that corner. We've got him beat, and we're out in front of him. Pretty nice pickup, 39 yards. Okay, same concept again, probably on the same drive. If it's working, keep calling it, right? So here, really bad decision. We don't beat the cap. Not really sure why we went there. We've got our guy wide open here. Just put it out in front of him a little bit. So it really comes down to you've got to be able to beat that cap. And your quarterback, you can accelerate his decision making. If he sees that cap is beat, take the shot. If not, check down. Coaches, thanks for listening.